Hello legends, I am back with yet another video on our beloved series Cobra Kai, and this one is special because this one is Cobra Kai Season 6 Predictions Part 2. Now, why am I bringing out a Part 2? Did I expect to bring one out? No, I did not. But the first one was so successful, it inspired me to make another one because the quality of conversations that I had with you guys, I've tried to reply to all of you, I really hope I have. The quality of conversations I've had, it's inspired me. I thought more about it and I've concluded 5 more theories that I'm going to share with you today. Now, let me be very, very clear. These theories do not replace any old theories. They add to them, okay? These are extension theories because I want to go more in depth of how things are going to pan out. But also, I've got something special for you in this video. Somewhere, it's not going to be at the end, I am going to chuck in a prediction that is going to absolutely blow your freaking mind hole, okay? I am not going to expand on the theory. I'm simply going to say what it is in about 1 or 2 sentences, and then I'm going to drop a whole other video about that theory if you think I should. It will blow your mind, so pay close attention. So what have I got for you today? I've got 5 theories plus a mind-blowing theory, but before we get into it, I want to ask you to invest in this video right now by liking and subscribing. Obviously, it helps me out. Obviously, it will grow the channel. And if for any reason you do not like the content, you do not want to subscribe, then take your subscribe back, take your like back, close the door, and never show your face here again. I'm just joking. Please come back. Like and subscribe now, and then for any reason, revoke it at the end. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to it. Number 1, the tournament. Okay, I'm not going to reiterate what I said in the last video. Obviously, I touched on the tournament. The tournament's going ahead. It's going ahead in California. There's more reasons that I believe this now because I've actually dug more into it. But what will happen at the tournament? I believe, this might be hard for you, some of you to hear, I believe that Axel and Robbie will continue, but I believe that Axel will badly hurt Robbie. To the point that Robbie is not able to continue, but also potentially never able to fight professionally again. Why do I believe this? Glad you asked. There are 2 reasons I believe this. Well, actually, no, there's not 2 reasons. There are 2 movies and 2 movie references. I don't know about you, but this, I clocked onto this very, very clearly, very early, that the writers have done a terrific job of referencing 2 movies consistently throughout Season 6, and that is Bloodsport and Rocky IV. Now, if you haven't seen either of those, there's going to be some spoilers here, so you might want to move over to Prediction 2. What are the similarities? Okay, let's look at Bloodsport. Let's look at Cobra Kai Season 6. Number 1, Tori kicking the girl's tooth out on the mat. That is exactly what happens in Bloodsport. The tooth gets knocked out, the golden tooth, it falls on the mat in blood, covered in blood. Guy creeps over, picks it up because it's a gold tooth, might be worth something. He's clearly poor. And in Cobra Kai, Tori kicks the girl's tooth out on the same kind of mat. And then they pick up the tooth and they flaunt it, covered in blood. Very similar to Bloodsport. What else is similar to Bloodsport, other than the many, many things, is the fact of the actual mats that they're fighting on. The stages, the platforms look very similar. It's got that kind of, that cutthroat, off-market, dangerous, don't know where it's going vibe. But also Rocky IV. Now, what Rocky IV references are there? Well, we basically have the grandson of Ivan Drago, or Ivan Drago reincarnate, who is Axel himself. I'm sure Axel's Russian, but it's not definitive yet. I haven't really looked into it. Based on the accent, I'm going to say he is, and I would be surprised if he's related to Ivan Drago. So there's that. You know, he's the absolute image of Ivan Drago, so to speak, and the metaphor as well. But also, in Rocky, there's so many Rocky references, even Rocky 2, when Carmen's laying in the hospital bed and she says, "Promise me one thing, win, win." That is a word-for-word quote of Rocky 2. I think she quoted the movie exactly on purpose for Johnny because she loves Johnny and she's a keeper. But what else is there? It's the training style, okay? So in Rocky IV, you've got Rocky training in the mountains, through the snow, in the barn. He's using his surroundings. He's rustic. He's agile. This is just like the training before the final episode, training in episode 10 when they're out in Barcelona and they're running around Barcelona by the cathedral and they're up in the mountains and the hills and they're using their surroundings. They're using, like, they're basically doing calisthenics, right? They're molding to their environment to make them more hardcore. That is just like Rocky IV. But you might be asking, okay, well, what do these 2 mean for Robbie? And why is Robbie going to basically get taken out? Why is it going to be curtains closed for him? Glad you asked. Because with Robbie, If the script continues to follow these movies as closely as they have been, what do they both have in common? Let me ask you. Perhaps you've never seen them, but if you have, take a second, think. What are the similarities between Rocky IV and Bloodsport? I've got you here. It is the friend. Okay, in Bloodsport, can't remember his name, absolute legend, the guy who says, "I'm not your pal," face. He gets absolutely taken out of commission by, ironically, a psychotic Korean contestant. Sound familiar? And in Rocky IV, Ivan Drago actually kills Apollo Creed. He kills him in the ring. So both of these fighters go up against the final boss and they lose to a point of detriment. And then Rocky or Jean-Claude Van Damme have to fight that baddie and knock him down a peg to avenge him. So I believe that will be Miguel. I believe Miguel will fight him through Cobra Kai because the script is following these two movies so closely. Alrighty, now if I may, I'd like to move to Theory 2. Oh, sorry, real quick. I believe that Johnny will also fight Sensei Wolf. I said that in the last video, but I believe he will finish him by learning the last scroll from Chosen, because Chosen knows the scroll. Daniel yet hasn't got it translated, but we know that Chosen can teach it, and I think that's what Johnny will do to take down Silver. Now, prediction number 2, I believe, and now hear me out, Kreese shows mercy. How can it be that John Kreese, strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sir, we're at war, you never talk to your enemy? Well, after what's happened with Quan, I believe this is a serious wake-up call. After Johnny protected him against Silver, I believe that's an addition to the wake-up call. I think the guy has probably gone back to his hotel room, cried, watched a couple of chick flicks, and has really reevaluated his life, because it was a hard episode for him, but it was an emotional episode for him. And I think he understands now that he has brought this monster Silver into the world. He has brought a monster of a methodology into the students' minds and hearts, like from Master Kim. Strike first, strike hard, do whatever it takes to win, has cost lives. It's cost the life of his student, it's effectively cost the quality of his life and the life of Johnny and all other students he's ever had. It's added tremendous negative value. So I believe he'll submit to Cobra Kai. I said this in the last video. I believe that he will fight alongside Johnny and Daniel in the war that I believe is coming. Again, reference in the previous video. But I believe he will go to war with Silver. I believe we have not seen the full extent of the fight yet, or at least I hope not. We only saw a little warm-up. I know a lot of you guys think that Silver could beat John Kreese hands down. I think actually no. I think Kreese has always been the better fighter. We saw this when face-to-face Kreese was winning and then Silver had to use a curtain and play a little game of peekaboo to get the upper hand. We know that Kreese is the better fighter, fist-to-fist, pound-to-pound. Unfortunately, this is a theory. I haven't looked into it, but I think the actor who plays Kreese, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got some serious arthritis or issues like that actually prevent him from filming high-quality action scenes. Because, you know, when he dropped the knife, he's just effectively playing rugby. He's just pushing people aside on his way to Silver rather than having a good quality fight. And I think that's the only reason we haven't really seen it yet. But I think that they will do it, and I think they'll choreograph it well. Now, I believe he will show mercy to Silver, which brings me to prediction number 3, and that is what happens to Terry Silver. I was going to make a whole separate video on this, but you know what? I'm just going to chuck it in here. I'm going to keep it brief enough. In light of Kreese showing mercy to Silver in the All Out War, I see there being 2 scenarios. One scenario is the one I think is going to happen, and the other scenario is the one I want to happen. So I really want you to pay attention, and I want to know your thoughts. Now, what do I think will happen? Well, I think in the moment that John Kreese shows Silver mercy, I think Silver will try to take Kreese out in the way that he did Chosen. You know, we saw Chosen show him mercy. He couldn't receive the mercy. He grabbed the samurai sword. He cut down Chosen's back. But if that happens, I think that will happen. They'll choreograph it in such a way that if John Kreese falls in such a brutal manner, it will be a way that he'll stand between Silver and Johnny to save Johnny. Maybe even Tori, maybe Kim. I don't know, because he values all 3 of them. But he will go down protecting someone else. That's what I think is likely to happen here. Now, what do I want to happen? And I also think this is possible. I just don't think it's the one that's going to happen. And that is, when Kreese shows Silver mercy, I think it will hit him harder than any punch, any kick. In fact, I think Silver will be hit by a roller coaster of emotions like he's just watched the Titanic for the first time. And I think he will submit to Kreese. And I think he will stand beside him, or possibly could stand beside him, and Daniel and Johnny in the all-out war. Because here's why. Again, this is what I want to happen. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is why I think it. There's a pattern. There's a chain reaction here in Cobra Kai. Johnny brings back Kreese. Later lives to regret it. Correct? Kreese brings back Silver. Later lives to regret it. Correct? Could it be that Silver, who has always loved and appreciated Kreese for what he did for him in Nam, actually correct himself? Because it's also, he could regret what he's done with Wolf. You know, he could have really brought a monster out of the bag with Wolf. We haven't really seen a lot between them yet. Could it be that so much conflict happens between those two that maybe Terry Silver is the one that bought out his business before? You know, when he said you got in bed with the wrong people and now he knows his financial difficulties. Could it be that Silver actually set that up and then Wolf finds out about it, which actually means that there's conflict between them two? I think that's highly possible. I think it's highly plausible. But who cares what I think? Tell me your thoughts. Comment below. Let me know. Okay, now the bonus theory. I said I was going to drop it in partway through. Are you ready for this? Sit down. Breathe. Let me just say this before I say it. I told you I'm going to say it in 1 or 2 sentences, and I'm not going to explain why, but I have something for you. I am bringing out a video. If you think I should, I want you to comment and say if I should do this. What if John Kreese knew Mr. Miyagi before Karate Kid 1? Have you ever thought about that? And I tell you what, real quick, I watched all 3 movies for like the gazillionth time. I watched every episode of Cobra Kai again for like the quadrillionth time. And something absolutely popped out and jumped at me. And I was like, oh my God, what on earth is this? I have never thought of this before. So this is the theory I put to you. Have you ever thought about it? Have you seen anyone else talk about it? Let me know below. And if you think I should do a video, I've got you. I'll do it. All right then. Theory number 4, prediction number 4, Miyagi. Now, we're starting to learn a lot about Mr. Miyagi. I don't think we're going to learn much more about him. Here's why. It's rumored that there's a movie next year in 2025, Karate Kid, where Daniel apparently seeks out Mr. Han to sort of understand more about Miyagi's background. I think that's the point of the movie. I haven't looked into it at all yet. It's just what people have told me in the comments. So I think we're going to find out more about Mr. Miyagi, just not everything that we want. Now, I did release a video a couple of months back comparing the connection between Mr. Miyagi and Master Kim. Do I think that they know each other? Yes, I do. Go watch that video. Macro summary really quick. I believe Mr. Miyagi created the way of the fist. The video explains why that is, but basically we knew Mr. Miyagi left America, didn't just come to America. We knew he was badass at boxing. We knew he had boxing gloves. We knew he was a private partner in a boxing gym. Well, the way of the fist is the fist. The fist is a very much fist-fighting sport. What is a fist-fighting sport? That will be boxing. There's a whole theory about that. Go check it out. I believe we'll learn about it. But real quick, I believe that the reason this will come to light is that Terry Silver and John Kreese will learn that this idea of strike first, strike hard, no mercy, way of the fist, defense is bullshit. They've actually been learning the method of Mr. Miyagi this whole time. And that would actually give some beautiful praise to Miyagi-Do. So check that out. I highly recommend it. Now, the final prediction. Character returns. Alrighty. A couple of times I've been asked on my last video in the comments, do I think that Hillary will return? And the answer is no. And I think it's a relatively emphatic no. And here's why. We've got a few short episodes left. There are so many character arcs and so much to get through. The tournament aftermath from Barcelona, Silver, Kreese, Wolf, Johnny Lawrence, Miguel, Robbie, Tori, Daniel. There's too much going on. It is absolutely hectic. Simply bringing back Hillary would not give us enough time to invest into her character and invest in the new relationship that she would bring to the show. So no, I do not think she is. Another one who I do not think is coming back, is Mr. Han. Simply for the same reason, but also because there's a movie coming out in 2025, supposedly where Daniel seeks him out. So it wouldn't really make sense to bring him into Cobra Kai, for Daniel to ask him everything he wants to ask him, to then have a movie where he goes and seeks him out. It just wouldn't really add up for me. So those two, in my opinion, are not coming back, unless it's a cameo in the credits. But who do I think is coming back? All right. First of all, I think the OGs, the Cobra Kai OGs are coming back. Bobby and the gang. We saw them earlier on in the show. I believe it was season 2. I think they're going to come back. I think Johnny's going to need them in the all-out war. And I think it would be absolutely poetic to not only see Johnny and Kreese and Daniel fight alongside each other, but to bring back the bullies who made Daniel's life hell. All of them in one pot, working together against a common enemy, standing their ground. I think that would be brilliant. I also think the douchey prison inmate who used to bully Kreese until Kreese absolutely destroyed him and made him his bitch, I think he actually might make an appearance, because we don't know what he's in there for, or maybe we do. Maybe I missed it on like 1,000 times I've watched it, but maybe he's out and he has a lot of respect for Kreese. He actually helped him escape prison. What if he is out, and what if he and the prison, Kreese is now respected in the prison community. He's got connections. What if he can convince them to come stand alongside him and fight in this all-out war? I think it would be absolutely brilliant. So they're who I think are coming back, those who I think isn't coming back. Now, this is me wrapping up the video. I would like to know in the comments below what you think about each theory, especially the mind-blowing one about Mr. Miyagi and John Kreese. I would like to know if you want me to make another video about anything, any topic, any prediction of Cobra Kai Season 6 or the Karate Kid movies, because I want to do more content for you guys. Now, how am I going to do that? Like and subscribe. Grow the channel, and I'll invest more time and energy into it, because I like doing this, but I'm very off script. This is just me with a mic, so you have to forgive me when I forget names. You have to understand I am just talking to a microphone. I forget stuff sometimes. But yes, this is the video. I'm now going to go chop up some footage, put it together, push it out on YouTube, and that's because I love you. I'll see you guys in another video. Speak soon.